at the stadium, but it has dried up, and all things considered, not a bad night, not a bad turnout either, all things considered.
Waving to the fans that cheered him on last year. Jackson Hastings and this Salford side will be looking for a big performance against a Wigan side that, you know, they seem to have gone to another level this year. They've spent big, they've brought in some big-name players, but they need to be on the game, because if you look at this Salford side, they've caused upsets over the recent years. They got to third place last year, and then they got to the grand final, but they just couldn't get there. Will it be another big performance tonight from them, though?
Well, they do lift against Wigan, the big heavyweight opponents from just up the road, the Wigan Warriors. And Salford have had their moments against this Wigan club, not very many of them, and they go into this game on the back of a very disappointing defeat at the hands of the Catalan Dragons in Perpignan last time out, although Ian Watson's sensing some good signs coming from that performance, that maybe they were turning the corner. They're going to have to get further around the corner tonight if they have to get on top of this Wigan Warriors side. Jake Bibby, once of this Salford club, made 78 appearances for them. And Wigan, by contrast, in great shape. They won 5 of 6, and they are scoring points freely. So Tommy Luluai hoists a kick towards Rhys Williams on the wing, and Williams solid underneath that one.
They've got to make sure that they're patient, Salford. They can't feel their way into the game. They've got to take the chances, their opportunities. They know they're up against a side that like to defend. If they're playing in that middle third, it's really hard to break the Warriors down. They do try to hit you in numbers, really do hurt you. Good line speed again, Iser and Burgess on this occasion.
Dan Sargentson running the ball there, running into former teammates. Lolohea, well, sold everybody a dummy there.
Yeah, he had no runners. When you watch Wigan when they had the ball, it was purely about getting upfield, getting a good kick and a good chase in, and Salford on 4th tackle there have hardly made any territory forward, and they're finding ground hard to come by. 11 metres in possession.
Lolohea has to kick from deep in his own half, and it's only just into Wigan territory. So Wigan already on the front foot.
That is a massive reward, that, from strong, dominant defence, isn't it? Look at this, Jackson Hastings just tips the ball on 40 metres now from Salford's line. Need to get a grip of this game.
It's Liam Marshall. There's a player down in back play. It's Tyrone McCarthy who's just getting to his feet.
Second mate. Yeah, headed.
Some really good work by the back three from Wigan there. You see Liam Marshall. 5 tries for him this season, but he works hard coming away from the other end of the field. As you see, he goes forward. Tyrone McCarthy, probably just his head in the wrong place, maybe a bit of a stinger on his shoulder, but Liam Marshall, Don Manfredi, everybody's delighted to see Don Manfredi back in first team action. Had dreadful luck with knee injuries, and then if you put it in the mix as well, Bevan French, who's super quick and super fast, and Tyrone McCarthy again just getting some treatment on that shoulder.
Be a blow, and McCarthy, I think, signalling that he's going to be okay to carry on. He's back on his feet.
And then when you look at the likes of Liam Marshall, not only can he score tries, he accelerates into defensive lines, which causes them to mistime the tackles.
Here's Hastings. Where are the customary boos when the returning former hero gets his first touch? Hardly a sound, but that's because they had such respect for him when he was here. He did so much for this Salford club. And now then, here's George Burgess, his 4th appearance for his new club after that delayed start, well, a stop-start if you like. Hastings, little no-look pass to Liam Farrell. About 6 or 7 metres away from that Salford try line. Hastings, Luluai going across the field to Bevan French. French ducking under the first challenge and almost getting his way over the line. He's just held up.
Just does enough then, doesn't he? Kevin Brown gets underneath. French, I'm sure, a lot of talk with him about him on his lines out the back. Don't give him too much space. Get up and make sure that you're in his face.
He was on the last, so Salford survive, but now have the task of trying to bring this ball away.
They've got to make more ground here, Salford, aren't they? They can't afford to just allow one player to run up and try and muscle his way forward. They need some deception,
Go, good mate. 2.
some trickery. It's just not good enough running from dummy half. They're not getting far enough downfield.
There's the outside backs doing the work at the moment. Sargentson, then CO, and then Lussick with the kick.
What's that? Play up.
On the third.
Yeah, we're kicking on the third, knowing that they're struggling, Bill. Forwards aren't getting forward. The backs are not making meters. Liam Marshall again with a half break.
One, move!
And then he's thrown to the ground. Ryan Lannon with the tackle on the Wigan wingman.
Yeah.
He's Bibby now. Bearded centre.
Hold the 10, Luke. Hold
Got Salford's only try in that grand final appearance against St Helens last October. Great night that was for the Salford Red Devils. But this side much changed from that performance. Luluai with Wigan pressing early on here, and Isa powering onto the ball. 10 metres out they are. Salford retreating to their own try line. Luluai across the field, gets the pass away.
That's a high
and
tackle,
that was a tackle on Morgan Smithers that was high. Now then, keep the momentum going, surely is the call.
Yeah, I think so. And what you're noticing from Jackson Hastings is he's playing quite far away from the line that Wigan have chosen to take the 2 points on offer. Tyrone McCarthy just sticks an arm out here. The ball, probably Tyrone McCarthy's body's facing that next pass. It going out the back and behind that player that receives it. He's slightly off balance, but Jackson Hastings, a player that's well known for taking on defenders, running, not just running as a halfback, running through the line, bumping defenders off. But for me, he's just playing a nice game of fish. He's got the bait on the end of the hook, and he's waiting for players to come towards him, and we'll see that later in the game where he'll look to expose that and maximise the potential.
Well, this is interesting as Chris Hankinson, who's in place of the regular goal kicker Zach Hardacre, has got the goal kicking job tonight, and he's off to a successful start. First points of the game for Adrian Lamb's side.
I'll be honest, Bill, really surprised that they've took 2 points in front of the sticks with all the pressure that they've had, the field position, making meters. Barry's already talked about the trickery that Hastings had. You put through Luluai, Sam Powell into that, the speed of Bevan French.
Well, it allows Salford to reset, doesn't it?
They'll be happy. Salford, they will take that. They will take that 2 points against them to just get up this end early in the field.
That's a good point. This is the furthest they've been up, isn't it? For what have we got on the clock? 6 minutes.
And now they can possibly turn the tables on Wigan and put the pressure on them. That's going to take some doing, because Wigan are on a roll, and here comes Smithers, this really promising back rower Morgan Smithers, 19 years of age, and already heavily touted as another big success story for the Wigan club.
Yeah, quality play. He got the Super League record, didn't he? In this fixture last year, 72 tackles he made in that semi-final. Well, incredible effort.
Just shy of the halfway line, and Hastings, no pressure on as he hoists that kick, and Rhys Williams it is who comes for it. Evels left him to it.
One, move!
Well, they know that he will be a danger man as well. In Super League, he's made the third most carries and second most meters, Rhys Williams. He is a player that Salford heavily deride to get them out of trouble.
Sargentson having a strong start against his old club. 40-metre, line that is. In Salford territory. Here is Lee Mossop, 165 appearances he made for the Wigan club before moving on. Coming to Salford via the NRL. Back into the middle of the field. Yeah.
Bends his back, doesn't he? Sam Powell hits around the ball. That's a good tackle from the hooker.
Roberts was stopped in his tracks, and Lollahea hoists the kick. French is underneath it.
Well, if you're going to put the ball up that high, you need to put a bit more pressure on Bevan French. Although he had bodies in front of him 3 or 4 metres, if he has that time and think time and space available to him.
Oh, Marshall's through. Marshall breaks the first line of defence. There's a second line of defence. Fortunately, it's Niall Evels for Salford, but Liam Marshall really is running fast and hot at the start of this season. 5 tries to his name so far. And a couple of crackers in those 5. There's Liam Farrell now, looking for his 100th try for the Wigan club in this game. Smith is on to Tommy Luluai. Oh, nice hands from Wigan, and French gets the pass away, and Hankinson is well held by Rhys Williams. It's good work from the wingman.
Great defence, wasn't it? To force Hankinson into making that mistake. But one missed tackle around the middle of the field on Liam Marshall. All of a sudden, you're bringing the ball away from your line. The forwards will be really disappointed from Salford that they got brought down the middle by the winger.
Here's Chris Wellham now.
Move, Liam. Hold Jackson.
Another one of the steady contributors to the Salford cause. His 29th consecutive appearance. Sargentson once more. He just wants the ball at the moment. Now Luke Yates, just turned 25. Yates, and playing in the front row again tonight. Wigan uncompromising defence from George Burgess there. Lolohea manages to get the kick away, and again Salford having to kick from deep.
Well, 25 metres carrying the ball. So if they're not making metres carrying the ball, they've got to make sure they've disciplined. Don't give the penalties away to this Wigan side. Like I said before, they look rampant this year, the way that they've started the season. Well, like they've got a point to prove.
Hold. Go.
Missing Ben Flower and Oliver Partington tonight because of suspension, both picking up bans after that win over Hull Kingston Rovers last time out. Here's Liam Farrell. Farrell, little step back into the middle of the field towards the post, looking for some support. Nobody there. Lulawai was arriving but couldn't get there in time. But Farrell with a big break, and it's put Wigan in a great position here. Willie Isa.
Hold. Go.
5 metres or so away from the line. Lulawai's kick ricochets back to him, still on the last. Farrell will put the kick in, another ricochet, and it's an opportunity for Salford to counter. Lolohea picks it up, and Wellham goes on the run.
Well, that'll excite the Salford fans. They were under pressure. Lolohea was the one who made the mistake, missed Farrell, but he's the one who comes up with the play to get the ball. Good charge forward as well.
Salford countering. Lucia with the run. Here is Sargentson once more.
Now they're gaining the territory, aren't they? A chance to get to the back end of the set, put a kick and build some pressure on Wigan.
And the fans are finding their voices. That's a penalty high on Luke Yates. Penalty banging in front of the post, and surely they'll level the scores here now, will Salford?
Yeah, George Burgess just goes high, steps off his left foot, looks to get in between Burgess and Sam Powell. The outside backs for Salford are doing a decent job. They're getting some decent wins on the back of those quick play the balls. You got Yates going forward. The lunge from them, see Lolohea, it's got to be better than that on Farrell. You know that that's Farrell's pet play. He likes coming back on the angle, getting behind the play the ball. Lolohea knows that he's got some work to do tonight to control him and Hastings.
Luke Yates, the Salford player that ends up with the penalty. George Burgess hits him a little bit high. He is lightweight for a front row, but he has a wicked work rate, a tremendous work ethic, and what it does is it allows Ian Watson to hold back Paulie, the big man. We watched Ben Murdoch-Masila last night explode onto the ball, make breaks and score tries, and you can expect the same from Paulie.
Expect 2 points from Tui Lolohea. On targets. 7th success with the boot for Tui Lolohea to bring the scores level after 12 minutes, 2 points apiece.
Well, I'm sure in the build-up to this game, Ian Watson would have been talking about being solid in the performances and getting through the set to 6. Kicking the ball on their terms, making sure that when they are playing the ball on the last tackle, it's a quick one. You're giving Lolohea and Kevin Brown something to go off. Completion rate for Salford, 100%.
Oh, Sio's knocked that on from the restart.
Just as I said it, completion rate, 100%. He makes a mistake.
Shot clock on.
And puts his hand up.
Well, it just looks too simple for him.
Let's get ready.
Doesn't it? Sio Mossop just waiting to line up, come onto this ball. Little fumble, comes off his left, just knocks it forward.
It's a discipline, isn't it? When you come away, albeit with 2 points and not a try, to then go back on your try line and turn that focus and concentration dial right back up to where it should be at 100%.
Well, that could prove costly, because here's Jackson Hastings stepping and scoring on his return to the AJ Bell. Oh, that's cruel. That is cruel. But Hastings has come back to haunt his former club. And the mistake by Ken Seo has been brutally punished by Jackson Hastings. He took on Salford's defence there and left them standing. Oh, it is so cruel.
Yeah, it is a cruel game when you've posted points from a try or from a kick. Like Barry says, that when they're kicking off to you, you've got to make sure that you're concentrating, you're focused. And when that man gets the ball close to the line, you know he is going to run. The mistake here from Seo, it was an easy pick-up, a little tip-on to Mossop. Jackson Hastings last year carried the ball more than any other player. This year, he's doing exactly the same. He wants to get the ball in his hands. He wants to run.
Hankinson has converted into the car park, and scores were only level for about, what, a minute or so?
He's a really smart player, isn't he, Jackson Hastings? 2 or 3 minutes on the clock, he's playing away from the line. With 14 minutes on the clock, he's right on the advantage line, goes over the advantage line, over the defenders, and pulls to the first try of the evening. When Jackson Hastings plays this game, he never wastes any energy. He moves quick when he needs to, and when he's not involved, he's communicating with the people around him. A wonderful rugby league player.
4th try of the season for his new club, reigning man of steel. Salford knew what to expect. It's not as though they don't know what he can offer, but they couldn't cope with it.
Yeah, well, just don't open yourself up. You've got to make sure that you stay as squared as you can in defence, because he will come back. He's got that double step, and he'll get you. Good play again from Sampal. He's causing some problems with his dummy half running as well in this game.
One of several in this Wigan side who've been named in the England night squad recently.
Move, Ryan. Hold.
Powell.
Go.
Here is Hastings and Jake Bibby now. Seems to have settled in well at Wigan. The former Salford man, Bibby.
Yeah, came through the system here, didn't he? Jake Bibby. Again, just going about the work, the forwards. Morgan Smithies, you've got to make sure you take the youngster to ground.
Hastings is on the last with the kick and putting Niall Evalds to the test. And Evalds, who's in the full England squad, in fact. Overdue recognition.
Yeah, he's deceptive at the back. His acceleration gets him out of trouble sometimes, doesn't he? He's really good with the ball, but I think there's some extra effort that's needed here now from the Red Devils. They need some support around the man who's carrying the ball. One-up carries like that will not break down a defence. Rhys Williams has got nowhere to go. He's just swarmed by defenders.
Well, now Lee Mossop, the captain, leading from the front, trying to make some inroads into this Wigan defence, but that takes some doing when you're running into the likes of young Liam Byrne. 20 years old Byrne is, and he's a really solid construction, and that's a good kick, and that's Salford's ball. James Childs says play on, and Wigan just caught napping a bit then.
Well, it was a missed kick from Kevin Brown. He tries to get it through the line. It ricochets off a Wigan player, and it just drops behind the defensive line. Bevan French was too deep. He goes to kick it forward, and good chase from Kevin Brown. Another 2 points here, lads.
Do you think?
Yeah, go for another 2. I know they've got to post some points, and some good points, to win this game.
I'm just looking at the activity on the sideline and the talk between the players. Here's a low tackle from Liam Byrne, and then from that little scuffle, wrestle, push and shove on the floor, the penalty's given. Salford think they've got to look at the line here. They fancy the chances, so they need a repeat set or some points at the end of it.
Well, they're going for the points, and here is Tyrone McCarthy, recovered from that bang to the shoulder early on in the contest, and Wigan for the first time tonight are back on their own try line defending, and golden opportunity. Yates couldn't take it initially. The ball was still, I think, there for Tui Lolohea, but he couldn't take it. And
I like the attitude to run this and not go for the 2 points. I don't like the execution from it. They're setting up over on the right-hand side. You've got to make sure you nail it. If you're turning down points and there's a clear 2 points in front of the sticks, you've got to make sure your next set is a good set with the ball.
You can see what they're trying to do. The skill let them down. Luke Yates is trying to catch that ball, turn it up to the player that's looping around, just trying to create a little bit of space, but he's passing it before he's caught it, Luke Yates.
Ball is 10.
As Chris Hankinson, once a Salford Academy player, before making his name with Swinton. So Wigan
Ball is 10.
will be relieved to see Salford squander that opportunity, and it was a good opportunity. They might not get too many of that nature.
No, you don't get too many chances. Joe Bullock now onto the field. He was really good last week. I watched him when he played against Leeds reserves.
Up and square.
Didn't sulk about it, just got on with his job, and really impressive.
Well, you're going to have to do that at Wigan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Such are the resources. That's good pressure from Wellham on Hastings.
Nice attack through your defence.
And Wigan cough up possession. And now then. Here you go.
Well, he's always going to get the pressure, isn't he? Chris Wellham on that occasion, on his former teammate.
That's what they need to do. And here comes Evans. And Evans shows a little dummy. It's a good work. Good tackle from Hankinson as Evans threatened there. Kevin Brown onto Mossop. Now they're only about 12 metres out. Joey Lussick, just about in front of those posts, goes to the left. Brown back on the inside. Good work to stop Evans. Bevan French's tackle. Is Kevin Brown. Brown onto Lollahea. Lollahea puts a little kick in. Cross, sweeping. Well, Willie Isa was looking for it. It was Liam Marshall who came up with it. Could have gone horribly wrong, that.
Well, just did enough, didn't he, Liam Marshall, to stay in the field of play. Some strong defence again. Look, trying to push Hastings over the line. Good job, Liam Marshall. And Liam Farrell were there then, pushing his teammate back into the field.
Salford responding. They trail by 8 points to 2. And they're getting the encouragement of their supporters, who again are making themselves heard. Here is Liam Farrell. It's Wigan's turn to try and make ground, and Hastings with the kick. Neville's has to go back towards his own try line.
A good job in defence from Salford to restrict those metres from the Warriors, but make sure that if Jackson Hastings is kicking the ball, just try and put a bit of pressure on him. He got the depth that he wanted. He placed the ball where he wanted it from the kick.
Get square hold, Sam.
Ken Seo.
Go, mate. 2.
Lussick to Kevin Brown and Dan Sargentson. Oh, Sargentson, that looked high.
All the way.
It was Ethan Havard who stuck out an arm. Sargentson didn't flinch.
Morgan! We're back. Go, mate.
It's a feisty opening to this game. Yates.
5, move!
Normally see him at either on the bench or at loose forward. That's a nice ball infield to Evans. Niall Evans kicks ahead, way too strong.
They've been getting some good width from the play of the ball. The hooker, Joey Lussick, has been firing passes 8 and 10 metres, and on that occasion, on the last tackle with the supporting fullback back on the inside, it almost gave Salford a try.
Salford will be getting encouragement from
They're
this.
asking questions without a doubt. You can feel the balance. Wigan, at the start of the game, when they were defending, they were taking metres away from Salford. Salford was struggling to gain ground, and you could probably say it's the other way around now.
Quarter of the game gone. It's been a really lively start. End-to-end stuff. Here's Tommy Luluai. Luluai to Jackson Hastings. Hastings to Willie Isa. Isa cut down. Kevin Brown with the tackle. Bevan French now. Kevin Brown gets a hold of him, and then Sargentson comes in to help. Really got to keep an eye on Bevan French. 10 tries in 14 appearances so far. Luluai, little chip kick ahead. Rhys Williams watches it. Luluai protesting, saying that he was obstructed.
He thought he was impeded. He spotted some space, didn't he? Thomas Luluai gets the kick away. Thought he would have had the speed if there wasn't just that tug on his jersey.
Did he have a point?
It was an unusual play. It's not often you see a number 7, a half-back, taking the ball, running the ball on that drop-off play. You can see him here running onto it like a forward. He catches it, puts it on his toe.
Tommy Luluai. Massive experience, over 450 career appearances. Now then, Seb Ikehihifo is on the field. to bring some impact.
Bring some disruption, won't he?
Lussick will try and capitalise, but loses possession.
Take the scrum.
And like I said before, the weather wasn't great in the build-up to this game, so the ball's going to be greasy. Lussick gets out. If someone's going to go low like Sam Powell does, then you've got to make sure you clamp onto the ball. But look at this break from Evans. Splits him, kicks the ball forward. Just looking for that weaker defender, looking for those weaker blokes on the inside who just can't get there, quite close the gap.
As we've gone into this second quarter now, they've got 3 handling errors, Salford Red Devils. Tez talks about the first 10 minutes them being 100% completion rate, so fatigue setting in possibly, but that mental fatigue definitely. They need to keep the focus and concentration.
As Wigan in possession, we'll see more NRL action tomorrow morning at 8:30 on Sky Sports Arena when Penrith take on the World Club champions, the Sydney Roosters, and an additional fixture on Sky Sports Arena on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. You can see the Salford Tigers against St Helens. Wigan in possession. And the ball with 19-year-old Ethan Havard, very highly rated. His dad, Kieran, was a former Salford player back in the late 1980s. Very late 1980s.
And early 90s, played with his dad. He certainly had a big impact.
Hastings kick. And French was chasing that. Evalds claimed it ahead of him. That's a penalty, offside against the Wigan Warriors.
It's a decent battle between the two fullbacks, isn't it? Niall Evalds and Bevan French. The youngster who talked about, Ethan Havard, he's been penalised from the referee for being within the 10 metres. And the ball goes up there. You can see he's just to the right-hand side of Evalds.
Salford trailing by 8 points to 2. The way the game started,
You feared the worst.
Yeah, you did. That's not a bad outcome.
Yeah, you feared the worst. And they look like they've just got into this game. They've started to believe in what they're doing, thinking, yeah, well, do you know what, lads, it's not this difficult.
Ika Hihifo plays the ball now. Then here's Lee Mossop. Once upon a time an England international, Mossop, to contend with a lot of shoulder operations, something like eight shoulder operations he's had. Chris Wellham crossed the field. Nice ball on the burst to Kevin Brown, but it was forward.
Yeah. It was a good line from Kevin Brown. I've been watching Kevin Brown over the last 4 or 5 minutes. His involvement slowly and steadily getting a little bit more. Communication, definitely. He's made his name throughout his career, being that midfield general and marshal, and it's just slightly forward. He times his run, and you feel if Chris Wellham just straightens up just a little bit, instead of running to the touchline, he'd give his half-back half a chance.
10 seconds. Wait.
Wigan looking to make it 5 wins in a row. Just the 1 defeat at the hands of the Salford Tigers. And it has been a solid start for Adrian Lamb's side. Top of the table at the moment, and could put some more distance between themselves and the sides just behind them. They're inside their own half at the moment with Tommy Luluai. Luluai gets the pass away to Hastings. Oh, French was coming round the back. It ended up in the hands of Jake Bibby.
Ryan, move! Come on. Go.
Now then, here's Liam Marshall. Little gesture from Hastings. Waves Clark back.
5, move! Hold. Go.
On his inside, it was Ethan Havard with the run, and Hastings with a little kick ahead. French is chasing it, and again Evalds well positioned to claim that.
Yeah, well, everything's for Bevan French on those kicks. He's making sure that he's onside. He stood behind the man who's kicking the ball. On that occasion, it was Jackson Hastings. A lot of ball movement is what Salford need. A strong carry from Dan Sargentson.
Come on.
Looking to open up around Liam Farrell.
Sargentson back in the side tonight, having missed the trip to Perpignan.
Wait, Willie. Wait. Go far.
Lussick.
Again, good width from Salford.
Good run from Yates.
They stretched the defensive line with a long pass.
Go.
Lollahea on the last hoists a kick towards Marshall's wing, and Marshall is going to have to take this. Does well, goes to ground as Wellham arrived.
He knows the sideline is there, doesn't he? He can't afford to look where he is because he needs to keep his eyes on that ball. He's turning round to the touch judge, appealing for something, but did well to catch that ball and stay in field.
Move all the 10, Joey.
Paulie is out there for Salford. So they've got some impact players out there. Ikehihifo, Paulie.
They have got some power now, haven't they? Those two plays in particular will make massive inroads into Wigan.
So it's Wigan's turn to respond. That's the fifth tackle. Bullock playing the ball. Luluai with the kick.
Just drops it short, doesn't he? Makes Niall Evalds just come forward a little bit. The other point to make about those players, there's a high tackle from Jake Bibby. Might have even caught one as well. But the other point to make about Ikehihifo and Paulie is they can offload the ball as the game's breaking up with just less than 30 minutes on the clock. Well, he catches something, is it?
I think he catches Jackson Hastings.
Yeah. Have a bit of that.
He just comes round here now. I think it's his left hand. There you go. Hasn't he got good feet? Evalds, he gets into a bit of trouble, Bibby, because of the footwork from the Salford fullback.
And he's one of the players, Niall Evalds, that if he can follow, trail Paulie, Ikehihifo, and he hits that offload with a little bit of pace, he's already made one break, ended up putting in a kick that was ultimately too strong, but if he keeps following those players and instinctive offloaders like the number 12 and 14 for Salford, if they can hear a call, they don't have to see that player to have the confidence to throw it, if players like Niall Evalds are good enough to catch it.
He's a very productive try scorer, and that's the signal that Jake Bibby is going to have to leave the field after that clash of heads.
Be a reshuffle now, because you don't always carry a back on the bench.
Harry Smith,
half-back. I'm just trying to work that out now.
Isa going into
Willie
the
Isa, yeah. It's Liam Farrell's side, so Liam Farrell. Yeah, they're going to have to think about that one, aren't they?
Jackson Hastings just came across to apologise, I think, to his teammate. We'll check. Jenna Brooks will be on the case.
Right tackle, time on.
And after all that, it's a penalty as well for the high tackle on Niall Evalds.
Mitch Clark is on the field for Wigan. Just what formation they're going to take, we'll try and work that out for you.
And Clark, wearing 22, involved in that tackle right from the word go. 27 years old today, Mitch Clark is.
Sorry, Bill, looks like Liam Farrell's gone into the centre over on the left-hand side. Big charge. Look how many defenders he commits.
Paulie rumbling forward. Now then, on the back of that, can they construct something here? Ryan Lannon now.
All fellas, wait.
And Salford are looking to strike back. They've just had that one penalty success through Lollahea, but they're looking more threatening as this game goes on. Here's Sargentson, determination. 12 metres out. Here's Kevin Brown now. Brown, little step away from the first, couldn't get past the next. Tommy Luluai it was. Lussick. Lollahea will kick across field, looking for Ken Seo, and Seo climbs. It's not, it's Wellham who has it, but it's on the last, and Wellham is surrounded by Wigan defenders.
It's something you need to persist with, Salford. Getting good width away from the play of the ball. 8-10 metres, we saw both Lollahea, Kevin Brown in space and almost one-on-one, and that's the dream for any half-back. One-on-ones, one defender in front of him with a number of options inside and outside him.
Here is Mitch Clark now. Strong run from Clark. Back after 2 games out. In this competitive scenario that is the Wigan pack, there's so much talent there.
Good tackle from Flanagan.
Run from Bullock, and Paulie could have been penalised there. Bit of momentum in this Wigan attack now as Hastings is brought down. Tommy Luluai having to find touch with that kick. Salford will be satisfied with the way they've defended that.
Do you know, I think, Bill, I think they'll be disappointed. The first 3 plays, they had Salford, they had Wigan down there the line. Then all of a sudden, Flanagan come in, he's chopped Bullock down. Then it's a quick play of the ball. They make 20 metres on the back of that. Then another decent charge, and then they kick on the front foot and they turn Salford around and down near their own line. And that just one little lapse in concentration where you're not focused, you don't get off the line, you give up metres.
Wait. Heads in.
It's a pretty chunky front row that is, isn't it? Ike-Hihifo, Paulie, and who was on the other side?
I bet they go through some chicken, those lads, in a week.
Here's Sarginson.
Move! Wait. Go, 2.
Reece Williams now. He's got a good step as Reece Williams.
Move, get square.
But can't step past Wigan's defence there. Paulie now. Winds up for another tilt. Mitch Clark clings on and... Geez, it's like trying to stop a wildebeest on a rampaging wildebeest. And then the penalty goes Salford's way.
And that's what you get. You get defenders just trying everything to stop him. 4 defenders, look at him, all trying to take him to ground. Catches him underneath, a little tug on the shirt. The penalty comes from the referee.
I'd still like to see somebody at his side, somebody trailing, following him. Niall Evolds, get on your bike. There might be rewards for you, son.
Well, that's Salford's 5th penalty. They can't complain about that. And they've got Wigan retreating. That's the 10-metre line in the Wigan half. Ike-Hihifo powers through, still going.
Good charge from Ike-Hihifo.
So Lussick sweeps the ball away. Brown, oh, it's batted backwards, is it? Yes, says the referee. Evolds across the field. Retreating at the moment, Evolds, then away to Wellham, and Wellham straightens up, but runs into the tackle of Jackson Hastings. Sam Powell there as well. Salford fans not happy with that.
Hold! Goal 3.
Evolds. Lolaheya. Here's Mark Flanagan now.
Move, hold Joe. Hold 4.
4 tackles gone. Paulie. Just short, that's the 5th, and he's under those posts. Lussick fumbling the ball and knocking on, and Wigan celebrate because they've done well there. They've held Salford at bay. Well, Lussick furious with maybe not enough options.
Yeah, Salford's tackling machine. He's disappointed. He's under a bit of pressure, isn't he? Look how close he is to the line. It's red alert for the Warriors. Liam Farrell and Sam Powell just putting a bit of pressure on him. He can't handle that pressure. He knows where he wants to go. He wants to go to the right-hand side, but makes the mistake.
And then to compound matters, Salford concede the penalty.
Shame for the Red Devils, wasn't it? They were also close to scoring a try and then just holding on. Fraction of a second too long for the referee's liking. He blows his whistle.
Wait, Joey. Wait, Ollie, wait.
So Wigan in possession. Ethan Havard's.
They put all that energy into the attack now. They need to match it in defence.
Here's Joe Bullock.
He's done well since he's come on the field, Joe Bullock.
Once the Barrow Raiders, Sir Bullock made over 120 appearances for the Cumbrian club. Here's Ethan Havard. Havard, a lovely offload to Mitch Clark, and Clark standing, trying to repeat, but couldn't quite get the pass away. He was on one leg. Powell. 3 tackles gone so far. Short pass from Luluai finds Bullock. And Bullock does get the ball away to Powell. Powell will go for the line, and Powell will get over. And at one end, the hooker wasn't able to control the ball, and Salford weren't able to capitalise. At the other, Wigan's Sam Powell saw an inviting opening in the Salford defence, and he extends the Warriors' lead with his 4th try of the season.
For the last 2 or 3 minutes, I've been talking about the big players in Salford shirts having close supports. They need to be squeaky clean when they have the ball. There's a fumble there from Salford. I think they were unlucky to have that go against her. Ikihiifo gives a penalty straight after that. And then whilst defending that set of 6, a scruffy offload. They all count, they all matter from Joe Bullock, who's been impressive since he came on the field for Wigan. And there you can see Sam Powell with an option outside him and an unclear, unsure defensive line in front of him, just gets another try for Wigan.
And Hankinson gets another goal for Wigan. This one bang in front of the post, formality for Hankinson. And Sam Powell now a try scorer in the last 3 games.
A mistake, a penalty, an offload, and then all of a sudden you're under some pressure. Dangerous near the line. Sam Powell, look at him. He's looking for options. He's looking for Clark, who just holds up a defender and scores a simple try. Sam Powell
Scored against Hull Kingston Rovers last time out against the Huddersfield Giants. Of course, he got that penalty try when he was tackled by Chris Hill in round 1. It's a bit of a cost, that was. I think it put him out for a couple of games, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did. It was a nasty one for him to take, wasn't it, Sam Powell? He was out before he hit the ground.
Move, work back.
But big bang in form.
Big 3 minutes here for Salford to not concede any points, get to half-time. 14 points to 2 in the second half. They are still in this game.
But they've got to take the opportunities when they come their way, and
there's no doubt they'll feel deflated. Yeah, they got near the line, didn't get anything from it, and then lapses in concentration defensively allowed Wigan to look at the line and get over it.
Here's Tommy Luluai, that's the 40-metre line, that's the 5th tackle. And the ball with Hastings. Hastings gets the kick away before Mark Flanagan could arrive. It's a good kick as well. And Evalds was there before Bevan French. Just it's Ken Seo who comes up with the ball. Here is Wellham, and Wellham's lost it, and French has it back. It was 1-on-1, I think.
Well, brilliant. Do you know, you marvel at how they do that. Focus on catching the ball.
Oh, this could be costly because Clark is trying to burrow his way over, but he is held up.
You know, when you're defending and you've got to get off your line, you're trying to hit somebody, how you focus on getting the ball, stripping it without missing a tackle. It is an art, it is a skill, and French has it.
We were talking about the best exponents last night, weren't we?
He played for both of these teams, didn't he?
Yeah.
Played for Salford and Wigan, Gavin Clinch.
Hastings, big hit on Ethan Havard there after the ball, I think, had just about gone. And there's a high tackle. Bit of spite there.
Well, you take 2 points here if you're Wigan, wouldn't you?
We're just looking at half-time, just over a minute before the 2 teams will go in and get some instruction from the coaches. But Chris Wellham, with both feet off the ground, ends up losing his feet, ends up around the head, neck, chin area. And Wigan will, thankfully, slow the game down, take the sting away and allow Chris Hankinson the opportunity to post another 2, taking them to 16.
Just hearing from the sidelines that Jake Bibby's return to his old club is not going to go any further. He is not returning after undergoing a head injury assessment. It's just one disappointment in this first half for the Wigan coach Adrian Lamb. We just saw him coming back downstairs, and Hankinson has pushed that one across the face of the posts.
Lucky. That would have took them out to 3 scores then if they would have got that. Would have put them under a bit of pressure. The completion rate for Salford has an half drop from the opening 10 minutes, whereas Wigan's really, really high.
And in fact, that is the last action of the first half. So Wigan missing an opportunity to extend their lead. 14-2. Could be worse for Ian Watson's team, especially the way they started the game, but they managed to scramble their way back into the contest. They haven't been able to trouble the Wigan Warriors defence. Just that one penalty goal from Tui Lolohea, with Hastings and Powell getting the tries for the visitors. Hankinson kicking 3 goals, could have been 4, but the Wigan Warriors, top of the table, look as though they're going to continue their winning ways, and Jackson Hastings enjoying his return to his old club.
Welcome back to the AJ Bell Stadium. We are halfway through this round 7 fixture from the Betfred Super League. The Wigan Warriors with a 14-2 half-time lead over the Salford Red Devils. Their only points coming from Tui Lolohea's early penalty. Jackson Hastings scoring a try on his return to the Salford club. Let's have a look at the first half match statistics. Well, dominance in possession for the Wigan Warriors, 55 to Salford's 45%. Tackles made 179, 161, but just 2 missed tackles for the visitors and just 2 handling errors to Salford's 6. Hence the higher completion rate for the Wigan Warriors of 84% to Salford's 65%. Let's take you into the dressing rooms here at the AJ Bell Stadium. Phil Clark, Ian Watson declared they had turned a corner after the game against the Catalan Dragons in round 6. Very much in the contest for most of that first half, notwithstanding a scoreline that doesn't favour them at the moment.
I agree. I thought they were almost blown off the field in the first 10 minutes with Wigan's power and precision. Most of the game was played in their own Salford half of the field, but they fought their way back into it, and they've done remarkably well here. I think even though the scoreline doesn't indicate that, they have put their opponents under a degree of pressure.
Well, only 6 points between the sides before that late Sam Powell try, and of course that came after Joey Lussick had a chance. Adrian Lamb won't have, we know, Jake Bibby for the second half. Your thoughts on what he may say about that first half performance?
I would think he'd be very happy with that opening 10 minutes for a large part of it, but I think they were outplayed in the forwards really. If we look at the 40-minute period, Wigan's big powers in the middle, like starting with George Burgess, didn't have the impact that the Salford side did, and I'd say probably Lee Mossop was probably one of the best front rowers on the field by the time we got to half-time.
Okay, let's go to John Wells at the touchscreen for his take on that first 40 minutes. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think very, very pleased with the statistically Wigan. Looking at that very tight, very tidy first 40 minutes. Here are the highlights from the first half. Penalty kick from Hankinson on 5 minutes, 2 points to 0. Lolo here squared those up on the 11th minute, and then the knock-on from the kick-off, Ken Seo. And directly from that, a scrum that we're going to have a bit of a closer look at in a second. And Jackson Hastings over underneath the sticks. 2 points to 8. The final score of the game, of the half rather, was Sam Powell, and it was following another infringement, and he just skirted underneath the sticks after the ball was turned back inside and recycled. It was Bullock, and then passed on to Powell, who made the scores 2 points to 14 at half-time, and it's a 12-point lead I think that the Wigan Warriors thoroughly deserve. Let's have a closer look at the try scored by Jackson Hastings on his return to the AJ Bell Stadium. Right, as a picture then, to start with, first thing you need to pick up is you've got Liam Marshall, who's the left winger. He's feeding the scrum. Unusual, yes. The thing about this is that all 6 outfield players that are not tied into a scrum, including the scrum half, are now on the long side of the field. When you have a look at the Salford defence, if you're going to split a field, and imagine there's no scrum here in a set line of defence, if the play the ball is in the middle of the field, right underneath these sticks here, you would expect a defending team to have 5 this side and 5 this side, along with 2 markers and a fullback who would plug a gap somewhere along the way. So if you bear all that in mind and you have a look at these players on this side of this line, there are only 4. That indicates to you, as you can see, there's probably a proportionately more amount of space between those players. Doesn't need to be much. The sum total of that is probably the distance between these 2 uprights, and that's probably about 6 metres or so. But you average that out amongst each player. It's unbelievably easy how quick defenders get nervous about the space inside and outside of them. Right, on to the scrum play itself. Well played by Luluai. He takes the ball into the scrum, and it's this line here that's the big one. It's Willie Ice's line, really commits Oliver Roberts. You look at Oliver Roberts as a reaction to this now. He's been held here on his right foot, and he's now hightailing it out to try and get Jackson Hastings. He knows that that's going to happen because that's what they've played for. Let's take another look from the outside. Get him moving sideways because they're nervous about the space. And you look there, Oliver Roberts, he's lost his inside shoulder. He's now facing this way. Very, very difficult to get his weight back on the other side of his body. And a very, very easy and neat step by Jackson Hastings. So you see these occasionally, these scrum plays where they load up one side of the field and it looks dangerous. The execution level is actually not that high. That was really well executed.
Absolutely, John. He didn't celebrate it. He said he wouldn't celebrate it. Salford at times in that first half stretched the Wigan Warriors, perhaps handling errors, causing them to lose any chance of pouring on the pressure. How do you see this second half unfolding, Phil?
Well, Salford need Joey Lussick to play far better, really. I mean, he's made a lot of tackles, but he's come up with some errors. Most of last season, when Salford were at the most successful, he started as a substitute. Logan Tompkins began the game. They don't have that anymore in operation, and it doesn't seem to have been as successful for them. But if Lussick can get dangerous, which is hard here now when he's played the first 40.
That's not perhaps something that they could automatically change in that second half.
No, they've tried to alternate it, haven't they, really? But hopefully, with Kevin Brown and Niall Evans getting dangerous, they've had a couple of chances. Once down the centre, once out wide. They have stretched and tested Wigan, and through the middle, they've almost had the power to match Wigan. Also interesting, Wigan last week had 2 players banned for dangerous tackles coming in late and hitting the leg. Didn't seem to anyway in the first 40 minutes. It's amazing how with 2 players banned for a total of 6 weeks, they've quickly turned that around.
Okay, 8 first half penalties. Advantage Wigan at half-time. They've got a 14-2 lead over Salford at the AJ Bell Stadium, a stadium they have won in 8 of their last 9 visits. Can the Red Devils buck the trend? They'll have it all to do in the second half. Bill and the boys standing by the other side of this break.
There's more action coming up from the Betfred Super League on Sky Sports on Sunday, when you can see the Castleford Tigers take on St Helens. We're on air from 3 o'clock on Sky Sports Arena and on Main Event. Here, second half coming up at the AJ Bell Stadium between the Salford Red Devils and the Wigan Warriors. Salford's 10th in the table after a shaky start to the season with 2 points. Wigan Warriors top of the table after a very impressive start to the season, 14 points. And yet, Salford are not out of this game. They have shown that they can create opportunities. They haven't shown that they can take the opportunities, and they need to be more clinical in the second half. They don't have a great record against the Wigan Warriors here at the AJ Bell. Since moving here in 2012, they've won only 1 of 9 home meetings against Wigan. And it's 5 in a row on this ground for the Wigan Warriors. At the moment, it looks like being 6 in a row for the Warriors, unless Salford can turn this round in the second half. They have the first possession of the second half, and it's with big Paulie.
Yeah, ability to score points might let them down. Like you said, they've had some decent field position, not managed to cross the line. They need more attacking options. Ikahihi form loses the ball. That is not what you're after.
He's claiming that there's 2 in the tackle there.
It's got to be better there, Barry.
Let's have a look if we get chance. Should I say?
It might cost them. What a sloppy start to the second half.
Move, get square.
Oh, yes.
Hold.
He's got a point.
Go on.
I think he has. There you go. They've got to defend now, Salford.
Referee saw nothing wrong with it. It's with Ethan Havard now.
Volley, get square.
About 5 metres away from the line, and Wigan really looking to make them pay for that. And Farrell legs driving is just short of the try line. Wigan fans were celebrating there, but he hadn't quite got there.
4-3.
So it's Hastings. Here's Ethan Havard once more.
4. Move. Full Zeb. Hold. Go
4 tackles gone. Here's Luluai. Change of direction from him. Hastings back to Farrell once more, and Farrell scampering, that stuttering running style.
5.
Salford back on their own
Move.
try line.
Hold, Joey.
Powell.
Go. Last.
1 try to his name already. Could be 2. He's held up.
Held up. It's a turnover.
Well, he goes, just thought that Paulie had switched off. So he goes, he takes the chance, he knows, look at him, he's disappointed.
Time's off.
He doesn't manage to score.
Yeah, it's on the 10.
I'll get a repeat set of 6. Sam Powell.
Yeah, on the 10.
Say if there's an option to go, if there's a chance that he's got to get in over the line, he'll take it.
I'll tell you when
Mark
Paulie
Flanagan. They have 2 similar players, don't they, in Tyrone McCarthy, Mark Flanagan. Glue players that hold the team together, do a lot of that untidy stuff. I think it's quite simple for Salford. They need to be the next team to score.
Move, get square.
They need to. That will boost their confidence. That will help them. They'll get meters downfield there.
Yeah, penalty goes Salford's way. We can go downstairs, hear from Jenna Brooks.
Ian Watson said that his Salford side is certainly up for the challenge. He did say that their attack has been awful, and the way that they train this week is certainly not the way that they're playing. They just need to re-establish their game plan, and he's confident if they do it, then they can win the game. Adrian Lamb, pleased with the first half. He said his completion rates were high and they're controlling their field possession well. He's asked for the same again, please.
Thanks, Jenna. Strong run from Seb Ikehihifo there. And off the back of it, here comes Chris Wellham.
And that's it, Bill, just play off a strong goal forward.
Go, good man, 3.
Lola Heyer now. Skipping across the field and then finding the pass and gets the ball back from Evalds to Brown, and Brown to Sargentson. Sargentson, little step, but good work from Bevan French to make the tackle. In comes Rhys Williams. Williams scampering. Opportunity here for Flanagan, but Flanagan quickly closed down. Lussick bang in front of those posts, gets the pass away to Brown. Brown to Sargentson, and Sargentson trying again. The ball comes to Williams. 6 to go, says the referee. There was a hand in there, a Wigan hand. Big opportunity this as Oliver Roberts plays the ball. Flanagan, Paulie, wrestling with Paulie's gone without it, and Wigan have it back. And Ian Watson, Jenna said that he was critical of his side because their attack was poor. That's another opportunity squandered.
Well, once this ball goes down on the floor, Paulie, he thinks that it's been stripped. He's got to play to the whistle. He's just got to get on with the job. Let the referee do his job. If he's going to give a penalty, he'll give a penalty.
Barry.
I think it was stripped. I think that's the second time a Salford player. Both of those big plays we talked about quite a bit near the back end of that first half, and Paulie involved in that tackle. Salford penalised, they lose their advantage now. Don Manfredi moving off the mark with a leg underneath. Here's the Paulie strip. Liam Farrell strips that ball for me. But Paulie turning round to the referee has got to simply transition from attack into defence.
Time's off.
Instead, it's Wigan transitioning into attack by virtue of that penalty. And they're just about on the halfway line now. So Salford with some more defending to do.
Good defence.
Yeah, that's the attitude, isn't it? Up quick. He was involved in that penalty and wants to make up for his side.
Here's Ethan Havard.
2, move!
7 Wigan players in that England Knights squad, Havard is. Luluai to Hastings. Hastings onto Bevan French. Good tackle on him from Chris Wellham.
Go, good mate, 3.
Is Mitch Clark now.
4, move, work back.
Raised in New Zealand, born in England, Clark. Hastings on, they don't connect, and Farrell couldn't take that pass.
Yeah,
That's Salford's head and feed.
Really tough to catch that.
It's Salford scrum.
Still looking to build that relationship. So George Williams and Liam Farrell over the years on that left side, so dangerous. Know what each other's going to do. I think Farrell thought the ball was going to go out the back to Bevan French.
Lola Heyer put himself in the way.
Let's get ready.
So Salford respite from the Wigan attack there. Head and feed to the Red Devils. And here's Cansio now. Such a fantastic season they had in 2019. Finishing 3rd in the table. Picking up the Man of Steel award with Jackson Hastings, and of course going all the way to the grand final. It is a big ask to back up after that, especially with the transition.
The turnover of players, yeah. It was 8 or 9 players that are missing, 10 players missing from that squad in 2019 that did so well, and Ian Watson has to then start again and try and build that philosophy and integrate those players into his club.
And 2 of his players are playing in the purple and yellow of Wigan tonight.
Yes.
Kevin Brown. And here's Sargentson again. Worked hard tonight as Dan Sargentson. Hasn't had any joy out of the Wigan defence yet. Here's Lola Heyer's kick towards Marshall. Marshall swept up by the Salford defenders. but held on to the ball.
They couldn't quite get a clear run to put some pressure on Marshall then, because there was enough Wigan players just in the defensive line.
Here he is again.
Pressure on him. He makes so many meters after contact. Like I said in the first half, he accelerates into those challenges. Defenders get it wrong, the timing. On the back of that, you've got other strong carries landing on the front. Salford plays at the wrong side of the ruck.
And a bit of a roll on here.
5, move, come on mate, come on.
Just inside their own half, that's the 5th tackle. And Hastings with the kick. High towards Evalds, hardly has to move for that.
But look at that line in front of him. He's still trying to find some space, isn't it?
1, move.
I guess when you look at the scoreboard, 14 points to 2, you know that Salford, their chances have been limited. I think that comes down to line breaks. Only one line break in that first half by Niall Evalds. It was swept up by Wigan, but if you look at the other side, we've got 4 line breaks. Wigan Warriors, and points on the scoreboard as a reward.
Sebastien Ikehihi for the former Huddersfield Giants.
Release. Go for.
Impressive career in this country, made the 2017 Dream Team. Here's Sargentson again, steps back in fields.
Move, work back. Go.
Tommy Luluwai with the tackle on the last, and
Clear.
the kick, a high one from Lussick.
Surrender.
Well claimed.
Stand. Wait.
And he's got a couple of his players just shielding. Reece Williams can't get through. The ball was kicked from Kevin Brown, who's involved in that tackle. I'd like to see Paulie he's involved in the tackle now. Get early ball, have a set or 2 off defending, and just really ramp up onto the ball. He's been good. Ethan Abbott offered himself an awful lot of carries in this game.
He's having a good spell on the field, isn't he?
Yeah, 13 carries he's made. 13 strong carries as well.
There's Mitch Clark.
Release. 5. Go.
Back in the side, having missed the last 2 games.
Outside. Give 10.
That's a nice kick, isn't it? Harry Smith just places it in between the winger and the fullback. If a kick hits the ground, players, coaches, they love that, because it's an extra second, half a second for that chase team.
Surrender.
Sargentson.
Go 2, play on.
Evalds. There's Kensio now. Paulie is actually leaving the field as Ian Watson makes changes. Ikehihi Foe has come off as well. Salford.
It's a nice player, that, isn't it?
They get the penalty.
They get a reward from it, don't they? The 9 passes it from one side to the other, and then it goes back to the original player.
They get a late hit here.
Yeah.
I think it's Joey Lussick. He sees past the ball. Mitch Clark comes in, hits him. Had some joy. They've split Wigan around the ruck area, especially in the first half, and that worked for them.
Yates and Mossop back on, the 2 big rigs, having a little break.
Here is Luke Yates. Normally see him tackling, getting through a mountain of tackling work. Always prominent in that department, but he's playing it pro. That's forward to CO. Oh, Chris Wellham. It just seemed to slip from his hands.
Do you know why that come about? It was panic. He saw the men who were defending opposite him in Willie Isa and Liam Marshall. They got up really quick. You could see he thought, no, I can't take any further steps. I've got to pass the ball. Just strong defence. Get in the eye line, you force the error.
Sympathy from Jackson Hastings there, no doubt. Just a word in his former teammates here.
Dan Marino would have said it when he's made the mistake. If he'd have got it right, he wouldn't have said anything. Just his skill let him down there, didn't he, Wellham? He wanted to catch and pass it to give his winger a chance, but his skill didn't match his ability on that occasion.
Wigan still leading by 14 points to 2 then. We're still waiting for the first points of the second half. And while it stays like this, Salford at least have, in theory, got an opportunity to get back into the game.
Yeah, certainly have. Like Mossop on, Yates on. The big fellas, the more experienced players are now on the field for Ian Watson. I say they just need to up the game in attack.
Strong in defence there. Mitch Clark stopped in his tracks.
You need to put your body in front of him, Mitch Clark. It demands a physical presence when you're in front of him.
Farrell. That's the 5th tackle. And Hastings will kick again. This time it's Rhys Williams under it on his own 10-metre line. Pouches that one safely and returns it. And we've seen Williams do this before. He did it spellbindingly against Toronto. Couldn't find a way through there.
Yeah, doesn't he return the ball with some interest? Evans, he's not the biggest. See Dan Sargentson looking to use his footwork along with this fella Lola here. But sloppy pass.
And Wellham has to retreat to retrieve it and does well there.
You know, if there's nothing on, just get down and play the ball. Don't need to pass that ball. Just try and make as many metres away from your try line as you can.
Lannon recovered from the hernia operation he had pre-season. Ryan Lannon. Mossop on the halfway line plays the ball. Flanagan on to Kevin Brown. Brown, Sargentson again, and that's a really good battle that's going on between Sargentson and Hankinson. Here's Brown, kicks into the corner. Bevan French is underneath this one and gets away from the first line of defence, the first chasers, and then finds a bit of space. Oh, that's threatening. That is a real thrill when you see Bevan French start to take off like that.
He's winding up, isn't he? When I was a kid, there was a toy, the Evel Knievel toy. You used to wind it up, press the button and let it go. He looks like that to me, Bevan French. He looks like he's running quicker and faster than everybody else.
Wigan up to the 40-metre line in their own half. Hastings ships it on. Havard, halfway line. For the Wigan Warriors. Luluai. He's Hastings. Morgan Smithies.
Right, get some pressure on Hastings here.
Go.
So the kick, a high one from Harry Smith, and Rhys Williams claims it, and then is very quickly cut down by Dom Manfredi.
Good timing from Manfredi then. And again, some decent line speed, strong run again.
I think they need to get away from that ruck. Get a little bit wider. When they go tight, they're being handled. See, Wigan, they're just trying to force some dominance. That's too easy.
That's easy to defend, Bill, when there's nobody with you. If you're carrying the ball on your own, you've got a defensive line in front of you. Too easy.
Wigan content to get through the defensive work. Oliver Roberts going nowhere. So the kicking from deep, and Lola Haya launches that one high. Bevan French claims it. Made that look so easy.
Well, he's just a natural player, isn't he? He wants the ball in his hands. He wants to attack. Looks like he really enjoys it.
Don Manfredi.
French will get his name on the score sheet tonight.
Without a doubt. And Wigan, during this arm wrestling, this period where the ball is going from one side to another, it just looks to me like Wigan are more comfortable in every facet of the game. It ends up just around the chops, doesn't it? Joey Lussick starts in the right position, ends up around the jaw, and Hankinson, well, I thought might have picked up a little bit of a knock while he was falling to the floor. He's still limping, getting back in position.
Hankinson in the side tonight because of Zach Hardacre's unavailability through injury.
Still got Oliver Gildart to return as well, Wigan, haven't they?
Sean O'Loughlin not available at the moment.
Move back with me, Ryan, hold.
Here is Zach Hardacre.
Looking on social media.
Tony Clubb alongside him. Another one of the big Wigan front rowers. It's Tommy Luluai. Hastings. Good defence on Morgan Smithies. Stopped him in his tracks. It was Kevin Brown leading the way. Harry Smith. Hastings. Here's Willie Isa. Lannon and Luke Yates in there. Mark Flanagan working on the ground. Luluai goes short side. Farrell reversing towards the try line and driven back. That's the 5th tackle. Almost rolled out of the clutches of Chris Wellham there. Luluai goes to the short side. Isa then brings it back to this open side of the field, and they'll change the direction. And a little kick ahead from Bevan French, and he will get his name on the score sheet. Or will he? No, he's knocked it on.
Bevan French is making himself available now, busying himself and trying to place himself where the ball is. But I'll tell you what, if the effort isn't made by Dan Sargentson, the fullback gets to that ball, they're still clinging in, aren't they, Salford? Not perfect in attack, but showing tremendous effort in defence.
Here is Sargentson. That's high on Sargentson, and that's a very welcome penalty for the Salford Red Devils.
Yeah, I think he's been Salford's best, Dan Sargentson. 17 carries with the ball. Always in these yardage positions when he knows he's going to have to cop one.
Guys, back up.
He earns his side a penalty from his sheer enthusiasm. Here he goes again.
They're working hard enough, Salford. They need a little bit more craft. Dare I say it, they need somebody with the touch of Jackson Hastings. Unfortunately, he's on the other side this evening, but when they get down there, they need to ask more questions.
Well, Wigan have answered everything that's been asked of them so far tonight. They've only conceded the penalty so far from Tui Lolohea. They lead by 14 points to 2 still. And the tries from Hastings and Powell in the first half, and those Hankinson conversions are what separates these two sides. It's not an unbridgeable gulf, though. And Salford inching their way forward here. Flanagan takes it on his own and gets the pass away. It ricochets kindly, and then Evans works his magic. Niall Evans works his magic and works the opening and gets the try. And that is the lifeline that Salford wanted, maybe. The ball was kept alive, and Evans, with the pace to exploit the smallest of openings, sliced through for his 4th try of the season. Salford aren't out of this yet. Kick to come.
And that's why he's in Sean Wayne's England squad. Niall Evans, good work from Flanagan. He puts himself around where he's expecting the ball to go, and he just beats Morgan Smithies. Morgan Smithies just caught on his heels. I think it's Sam Powell as well, who's in the middle. You can see the offload there. Morgan Smithies pushes up, but it's just the acceleration. He's no idea where he's going to run it, but he spots that gap, he spots that space between Powell and Smithies.
And Lolohea with the conversion makes it Salford 8, Wigan 14, and that is only the 11th try that Wigan have conceded in 7 games so far this season.
Mark Flanagan does a remarkable job, doesn't he? Keeps that ball alive. Very similar to the try that was scored by Wigan in that first half. A scruffy offload. For Wigan, it was Joe Bullock. For Salford, it was the replacement Mark Flanagan, and the bouncing ball just makes everybody freeze for a fraction of a second. That's all he needed. Niall Evans. Game on.
Back-to-back tries for the Salford fullback. He got a try against the Catalan Dragons last week in the defeat in Perpignan. He scored again tonight to give Salford and their supporters hope that they can turn this game around.
Imagine if Mossop and Yates can just stay with this Wigan pack for the next 10 minutes. Flanagan, real big impact since he's come off the bench. And then you put Paulie on Ekahihi for a big blast for the final 10. Wow, anything could happen.
Wigan need to really try and dampen down Salford's passion at the moment, because they sense that there is something here for them. And that's a good kick into the corner, and French, it didn't go. He's going to have to play that.
And a great chase by Dan Sargentson again. He didn't presume that ball was going to go over the sideline, and he put pressure on Bevan French. Look at him here now, Salford.
Rhys Williams involved as well there, and they're making Manfredi work.
Move on the 10 loads. Hold, go.
It was Hankinson who was in fact in possession.
Move on his 10. Hold.
Bit of
Tackled.
enthusiasm, bit of spirit from Salford. Well, they're not having any joy at the minute, the Warriors.
Move, Lee. Hold.
They haven't really threatened Salford's defence, have they, the second half?
No.
I think if you're Wigan, you've just got to stick with Salford here, haven't you? Don't need to try anything out of the ordinary. We're just about into the last quarter of this game. It's a deep kick. If Wigan continue to play that game, they'll back their own conditioning, their fitness, and look to get the Salford Red Devils at the back end of the game. Salford have to try something, don't they?
It's a great contest, this. Round 7 in the Betfred Super League. Salford against St Helens to come on Sky Sports on Sunday afternoon, of course. An additional fixture on Sky this weekend. So it's a busy weekend.
Hold. Hold, Sam.
Salford just inside their own half. Yep, we're into the final quarter of the game.
Liam!
McCarthy.
Go. Liam, no square! Liam!
It's the 5th tackle, and Lolohea gets out of trouble, and Lolohea is toying with the Wigan defence, and then the kick maybe not up to what preceded it, because he really had them backpedaling, didn't he? But didn't come to anything. NRL action coming tomorrow, 8:30 AM. You can see Penrith against the Sydney Roosters on Sky Sports Arena. And as mentioned, Castleford against St Helens Sunday, 3 o'clock, again on Arena. Some action to come here, though, in the final quarter of this enthralling contest. Here's George Burgess. Sorry, Barry.
He's come onto the field, and Thomas Luluai has left. I can't imagine you'd make a tactical change, swapping a prop for a halfback.
Kick drilled along the ground. French is after it, and Evalds has calm hands to collect that. And Wigan will try and squeeze the Red Devils now. Grip on their attack.
This is where good sides love to be. They love this aspect of the game. A really tight contest, stay in the grind, and an early kick.
Lussig's gone for a 40-20. He's gone for a 40-20, hasn't got the legs.
It's where it tests your conditioning, your fitness, your concentration, lung-busting stuff at the back end of the game.
Well, we don't know what's wrong with Thomas Luluai, but when he went off in the semis, he failed a head test, didn't get back on the field, he lost that game. And you see him with some ice there. Is he struggling? He will be a big loss in the final 17 minutes, won't he, lads?
They've already lost Jake Bibby to a head injury. Failed the head injury assessment, I should say.
Does put a little bit of stress on the replacement halfback, Harry Smith, now. We've seen him potentially. He's up to it, but now he's right at the cold face. There he is, involved in the ball.
And here's Chris Hankinson, and Hankinson has worked some space for himself, but he's going to have to do it on his own. He's brought down 10 metres out, is Hankinson. Good run from the centre, and Wigan have got Salford at 6s and 7s here, but the kick is not a good one, and Evalds has scooped it up. Evalds is on his way for his 2nd of the game. Wigan are chasing back. They will not catch Niall Evalds, and Evalds will go in under the posts, and Salford will cut the deficit even further. They are right back in this game now. Evalds with the try. Wigan had Salford backpedaling, but the ball went to ground, and Niall Evalds, with his 5th of the season, has really opened this game up now. 15 minutes to go, and Salford are back in it.
Well, Wigan almost took the game away from Salford with this break from Chris Hankinson. He's in open space, doesn't have the speed or opportunity. Look who's making the tackle, Niall Evalds. He stops to try, and then on the last tackle, Sam Powell, with a red and white line in front of him, tries to thread the needle, can't do so, and look at that. He has 80 metres in front of him, and all he needs to do is pin his ears back and put the ball down under the hedges.
Wow. Wow, what a game we've got here. Niall Evalds. 2 points here, sorry, Bill.
Go ahead.
And it is well and truly on.
It was always on the cards, the way Salford have been battling in this second half. And they have responded. 14 points apiece here at the AJ Bell, and the coach animated on the sideline, but calm as well.
Well, he said that they've turned the corner, didn't he? 9 levels, he picks this up. Nobody in front of him. He's the only survivor from when the last time Salford beat Wigan. He scored 2 tries in that game. He scored a try here. Wow. There's another try left in this Salford side for those Salford fans behind the posts.
Well, they had some big moments last season, of course, and that's another one for the 2020 campaign. Well, there haven't been very many in the 2020 campaign
but
so far.
I'm not surprised that a Salford side that is coached by Ian Watson will play with this spirit and this pride and passion in the shirt. We saw him do wonderful things with that side last year. With a little bit of time, he will develop this side. They've a long way to go, and so far they've won nothing in this game, but my word, they've showed these fans just what they can produce, given the chance.
McCarthy. Now here's Kevin Brown. Brown, a little dummy. Nobody falling for that in the Wigan defence. Morgan Smithers with the tackle. Lollaheya's kick is deep towards Bevan French. Keep the fullback occupied.
Oh, there's a game breaker, isn't there? And Salford choosing to give him that high kick with a red and white wall in front of him rather than see him in broken field. But there he is again on the ball, hunting for it.
He's looking to do what Niall Evalds did just a moment ago, and Bevan French can do that. He's got just as much pace as Niall Evalds and Hastings.
That would be a good race, that, wouldn't it? Ball in hand, 100 metres, who you backing?
I think I'd go for Bevan French just. Here is George Burgess now. Had a bit of a hip injury at the start of his Wigan career, but has been getting into the swing of things with his new club. Now then, here come Wigan again with Smith. Smith's kick though ricochets and it's collected by Oliver Roberts, the Irish international.
Well, you see the reaction from Adrian Lamb. Again, it's not the kick they've tried to put a few through. They've just not come off for them. The kicking game hasn't quite been as clinical as what the coach is after.
I know it's early here. What have we got there? 11 minutes.
You're going to say
a drop goal. A drop goal. I thought when Wigan had that set of possession, they were setting up midfield for a drop goal. It puts too much pressure on a team doing it in the last minute or two. Why not knock it over now, nice and early?
Do you know, Barry, I think there's another try in this game.
They could be coming from the team in red and white. Dan Sargentson has worked his socks off. Salford, 4 defeats in a row. Wigan, 4 wins in a row. But what a contest they've provided here, and what a contest we could have. Tui Lollaheya over the top to Rhys Williams. Williams skipping in field. It went forward, says the referee.
Well, Lollaheya, he's a jack in the box, isn't he? He wants to attack, he wants the ball in hand. And not being disrespectful, defensively, he's not the best sort of player, but in offence, wow, he's outstanding. He looks to
forward.
Well, he looks for Evans or Williams, sorry, can't get it to him.
I think that's 3 forward passes at big times for Salford. I think back to certainly one of the examples, Chris Wellham and Kevin Brown running on a hard line. It's just the bounce of the ball, the flight of the ball, but Wigan in possession now.
With Burgess, made such an impact with South Sydney in their team of the decade before he left the club. Hastings, Lollaheya was looking for an intercept. Here's Liam Marshall, and what about Marshall to seal this with one of his blistering breaks? Or will it come down to the boots, maybe, of Jackson Hastings?
I'm watching those important players in the Wigan shirt, and there's nobody in the pocket ready for a drop goal. They're going high, and they're going to put pressure on Evalds.
Well, he's up to it, and there wasn't that much pressure on him, in fact. He was standing their ground.
They might be challenging Salford to get upfield. They'll more or less give the ball to the Red Devils and say, right, come on then. Try and get upfield if you think you're hard enough.
There you go, Bill. There's that interchange that was on about Ikahihi for. There we go again.
Rhys Williams is clear. Williams against Bevan French. French will try and take him on and French makes the tackle on the winger. But Salford have made ground, and Salford are in the right part of the field with tackles to come here.
Now a drop goal.
Here is Ikehihifo. He gets the offload away. Lolohea going away from the post to Wellham. Wellham almost through. Salford aren't going to bother with 1 point. Sio now they come back to the middle of the field. They might set up for it here now. The ball goes backwards. It's still gone backwards, says the referee. Kevin Brown, and Brown a change of direction. Sargentson a little step. Sargentson almost through. That's the 5th tackle. If they're going to go for one, it's going to have to be some inspector. They're not. They're going to go for the winner, and Kevin Brown could have sealed it against his former club. Kevin Brown caught Wigan cold there. And Salford have turned this around. 14-2 down at the start of the second half. And Evalds with the try, and now Kevin Brown have put Salford in front with the kick to come. And Wigan cannot believe this.
Well, he couldn't get with Lolohea when he broke free. But certainly, he's a quality player with a lot of experience. Look at this. Williams gets through, looking for support, still stays calm, knowing that he can't get around Bevan French. But Kevin Brown, the man who started his career at the Warriors in his 18th season as a professional, stays on the left-hand side, looking for Dan Sargentson, who, again, he's been brilliant, Dan Sargentson. Shapes to go right. Everyone thinks he's going to go to Chris Hankinson, just a little step. Then he has to readjust to get to Williams, and that gap just opens up. Have a little look at the adjustment from Hankinson, because Williams is there, and that's all that Brown needed.
35 years of age, Kevin Brown. He made 70-odd appearances, 73 appearances for the Wigan club, one of his 5 Super League clubs. And he's scored the try that has galvanised Salford, and Lolohea has missed with the kick. 18 points to 14 now. Still 6.5 minutes to go.
Look at Ian Watson on the sideline there. Greg Brown just behind him. I said, didn't I? I thought that Wigan might fancy it in the last couple of minutes. Well, it's the Salford Red Devil who strike first, 4 points, taking them in front. Now they need a clean set of 6 with ball in hand and get a good kick and look to defend after that. Good contact from the young man.
This is a big experience for Wigan's youngsters, isn't it? And there are quite a few of them out there.
Do you know, he's a tough player, Morgan Smith. He's caught Ikehihifo then.
Move, we're back.
They need to rattle Salford and get the ball back.
And Salford just need to be composed, don't they?
They can't shut up shop though, can they, Barry?
Well, they don't have to score any more points, that's a fact. What they need to do is play with a level of composure that means they're in control of the tempo of this game.
They need the same intensity. They've been really good the last 10 minutes, Salford.
Well, if Salford fans are looking for an omen, the last time they beat Wigan at the AJ Bell Stadium 5 years ago, April 2015, Niall Evalds scored 2 of their 4 tries. He's got 2 tries tonight. 2 great tries. Manfredi is underneath that, and Sargentson all over him.
There has been a couple of big performances from Salford, especially in this second half. Again, they're looking to hunt in defence. That could have been a flop from Tui Lolohea then.
Definitely could. Here's Willie Isa now. Wigan. The clock running down on them. They had this game not in control. That's probably the crucial thing. They look comfortable,
yeah,
but they'd never put enough distance between themselves and the Salford Red Devils.
No, they've been competing. And I say the last 10 minutes they've been really good.
They're not done yet, the Warriors. Here is Liam Farrell. That's the 5th tackle. Is Jackson Hastings going to magic something against his old club? No, it's a kick into the corner. Evans will return it, and Wigan will try and rattle Salford now. Force the error in the final few minutes.
Well, Adrian Lamb now hoping that his side can force a mistake here. Nine Levels not taking any chances with letting that ball go dead.
Sargentson.
He deserves to be on the winning side tonight, doesn't he?
Brilliant.
Roll 3.
Wellham's run. Wellham taking on the Wigan defenders. Ethan Havard with the tackle down low. Lussick. Here's Tyrone McCarthy up to the halfway line. That's the 5th tackle. Wigan will get the ball back.
They'll look for the sideline, surely.
Lollahea won't find the sideline.
Find it.
Marshall will run it back. McCarthy's let him slip. You can't do that with Liam Marshall.
Wow.
Seo makes the tackle. Wigan could have had the penalty there. Hastings, they need something magical from Hastings. Smithies. It's on to Hankinson now. Hankinson, but there's 40 metres or so away from that Salford line. It's with Liam Byrne. 3 minutes to go here at the AJ Bell. Salford have turned this round. Little kick ahead from Harry Smith. He will chase this. Evans goes back and makes it dead, and Wigan will get the ball back.
Isn't that a really good kick from the youngster, Harry Smith? Drops it over between the winger and the fullback. Pressures Evans into kicking that ball out. That's a big play from a young man.
This is it, isn't it? This is the game. Salford need to defend, and Wigan need to cause some problems, and Lollahea stalling, trying to get as much time as he can.
The shot clock on 1 as they get that goal line drop out, the first of the game away. I swear Adrian Lamb was on the edge of his seat. It is a cracking contest, this. And Wigan have still got time to salvage it. Here is Liam Byrne, Salford backpedaling. Byrne about 15 metres out. Luluai, Hastings, Harry Smith. Oh, Sargentson! He makes the mistake. Tackle.
Great defence.
A match-winning tackle from Dan Sargentson. Surely
you've absolutely nailed it, Bill. That is a match-winning play from Dan Sargentson. Brilliant. Said how good he's been with the ball, offering himself all game. But that shot has won them the game, I think.
Not yet, Terry.
Got to stay in that position. Time back on.
It's a wonderful read, isn't it? Shoulder in, dips down, targets the ball, knocks him off his feet, and then completes the tackle. And that's where the mistake is made. The grit and tenacity from Salford tonight has got them that win. Clean set, get to the last tackle and try to find that sideline.
And it was on the danger man, Bevan French, and if somebody's going to come up with something special in the last few minutes, it's going to be Bevan French.
See Kahihi for carrying that ball then. It was though he was carrying a...
Oh, tackle!
Oh, that's it.
And Mitch Clark then doesn't like something that's said to him and turns round and has another go.
Does he pat him on the head? Mitch Clark said when Kahihi carried the ball, it was 2 arms around the ball. He was expecting the ball to be stolen. Mitch Clark, as soon as he makes contact, he knows he's messed up. Lussick, little tap on the head.
Jackson Hastings and Tyrone McCarthy, I think, were having a few words. How are you, Jackson? It's been a while.
Okay, I tackle Mitch Clark. Mitch!
And James Child, he's been a very calm presence tonight.
Not noticed the referee.
Do you want to
really.
make an allegation? No, I'm asking you a
I'm
question.
word with Tyrone McCarthy, and he's going to call Mitch Clark
I'm asking
over.
you a question, yes or no? Right, Mitch, come here, mate.
Final minute of the game.
Got to be composed.
Wigan,
High tackle penalty.
well, they must be frustrated because they've dominated this contest for a large part of it. But Salford's grit and determination has meant that they've stayed in the hunt, and it's paid off.
This has been a proper rugby match, hasn't it? Really enjoyed watching both sides going hammer and tong.
What a great tonic this has been at these anxious times. A great distraction these two sides have put on. And Chris Wellham and the Salford fans jubilant because they're seeing a rarity. Only their second win over Wigan in 10 home meetings since they came here to the Willows. And it's been earned through real tenacity. McCarthy plays the ball. Final few seconds, Ikehihifo in possession, and Wigan will think of what might have been. When you think of the way they set off in this game and looked as though they were really going to take control, they have been up against a Salford side showing bags of never-say-die spirit, who've turned this game around in the second half, trailing 14-2 at half-time. In fact, they trailed for 50 minutes of this match. But they had what it took to win it in the final quarter.